Every symbol of freedom you see is a distraction. Every landmark, every monument, every towering structure is merely the capstone of a far darker design. They want you to look up at the marble, but the real power has always been drilled deep into the bedrock below. The whispers you dismissed as folklore, of hidden passages and forgotten routes, are not myths. They are the literal blueprint of a shadow government. For generations, a secret society has engineered a colossal, silent network of tunnels linking every major American nexus. We are talking about subterranean arteries that pulse beneath your feet, connecting the White House to Mount Rushmore, the Federal Reserve to Area 51, and the Pentagon to the deepest missile silos. This isn't a theory. This is the physical infrastructure of control, a concealed network of classified transit that defines the very reality we live in. If you have ever doubted the truth, and you want to see the exposed map of the real American power structure, subscribe now to join the few who will ever know the true layout. And if you think you know where the deepest, most critical intersection lies, comment your location below, before we reveal the final, terrifying truth. The sound you hear now is the hum of the machine, and we are finally pulling back the rock to expose the gears. The entire nation is superimposed over a geological nervous system, a web of transit lines bored into the continental crust itself, primarily following the stable, pre-Cambrian crystalline shields to ensure maximum structural integrity and seismic resistance. The origin point, the Alpha intersection, lies hundreds of feet beneath the historical grid of Washington, D.C., centered not on the Capitol building, but directly below the original Masonic Lodge site, utilizing bedrock estimated to be over 550 million years old. These tunnels are not rough-hewn caves. They are vast, prefabricated metallic tubes, reinforced with titanium alloys and shielded against electromagnetic interference, capable of withstanding both geological shifts and even a direct nuclear strike, functioning as the ultimate hidden continuity of government apparatus. The initial construction began subtly, woven into the fabric of major infrastructure projects in the early 20th century, disguised as subway extensions, deep sewer main upgrades, or specialized military bunkers, allowing the covert work to proceed right under the nose of the public without triggering alarms. The earliest known segments date back to the 1920s, a response to the perceived need for a private, secure route between the nation's financial hub in New York and the political nucleus in D.C., anticipating global conflicts that would make air and surface travel too vulnerable for the movement of critical personnel and the actual physical gold reserves. The tunnels, spanning an average of 40 feet in diameter, are pressurized and feature internal atmospheric controls, maintaining a constant, chilly 18 degrees Celsius to preserve both sensitive digital media and specialized organic material, ensuring that whatever moves through them arrives perfectly intact. The true breakthrough in the network's development came with the acquisition and reverse engineering of silent, deep boring technology, allegedly derived from recovered extraterrestrial mechanisms in the late 1940s, a classified technology that allowed rapid, vibration-free excavation through miles of solid rock without detection on the surface. Traditional tunneling methods leave seismic signatures and require massive surface debris disposal. But this new system utilized focused sonic resonance and thermal dissolution, turning the excavated rock into an inert, fine powder that was easily and subtly distributed in massive existing quarries far from the actual construction sites. This allowed the network to expand exponentially in the decades following World War II, pushing the network outwards from the original DCNY axis to penetrate the stable geographical foundations of the entire continental United States, reaching speeds of up to half a mile per day through granite and shale. The logistics of the subterranean railroad. This vast network, known only by the cryptic code name, the arterial web, is traversed by specialized vehicles, the true workhorses of the deep state. These are not trains or maglev pods, as speculated in the more pedestrian conspiracies. They are customized, non-metallic plasma drive transporters, PDTs, frictionless vehicles suspended by a powerful, contained electromagnetic field that utilizes superconducting coils built into the tunnel lining itself. The PDTs move in absolute silence, achieving sustained speeds of up to 900 miles per hour, allowing coast-to-coast transit in under 4 hours, a capability that renders commercial air travel and conventional logistics completely obsolete for the network's handlers. The primary function of the arterial web is not just emergency governmental relocation. It is the fluid transportation of classified material and non-human resources. We are talking about vast quantities of rare earth elements, specialized technological components manufactured in secret underground facilities, and biological specimens that must be moved quickly and discreetly between the heavily guarded research installations and the centers of political authority. The sheer logistical demand of these dark operations necessitated a transport system entirely removed from the scrutiny of the public, utilizing an exclusive infrastructure that can never be tracked by conventional means, guaranteeing that the materials for their covert projects are always available on demand. The vehicles themselves are operated entirely by AI-driven inertial navigation systems that rely on a deep geological map rather than external GPS signals, making the network entirely immune to surface electronic warfare or surveillance. Each PDT is capable of carrying up to 80 tons of payload, and the schedule of their movements is maintained on a complex quantum-encrypted server located in a former NORAD facility hundreds of miles beneath the central plains of the country. This server, known simply as the Nexus Registry, dictates every movement, ensuring that the critical resources of the shadow government are always flowing freely and without interruption across the continental network, allowing simultaneous movement on multiple intersecting lines without ever risking a collision. The secondary, but equally critical function, is psychological and physical conditioning. Specialized segments of the tunnel network, those with high magnetic field fluctuations or acoustically dampened chambers, are used for the secure transport and highly secretive treatment of high-value human assets, including key political figures and elite personnel deemed too valuable or too compromised to ever appear in public again. These secure routes, featuring medical bays and self-contained life support systems, allow for complete isolation and control, ensuring that sensitive individuals are moved to deep-level facilities where their compliance or recovery can be managed away from the prying eyes of the media or rival intelligence agencies, making the tunnel network an invisible leash on global power. Key nodes and sensory evidence. Key nodes and sensory evidence. To grasp the scale of this project, one must understand the three critical geographical nodes that serve as the network's most heavily guarded access points and maintenance hubs, starting with the chilling node beneath Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. The public believes the secret hall behind Lincoln's Face is a mere historical archival room. In reality, it is a high-security airlock and an emergency access ramp leading directly to a vast, four-line intersection deep within the Black Hills granite. When you visit the site, the faint smell of ozone and dry, chilled air is sometimes noticeable near the ventilation shafts, a sensory trace of the massive air exchange required to pressurize and cool the operational hub buried 1,000 feet below the surface, a soundless sentinel in the heart of the American wilderness. The second critical node, deep beneath the Nevada desert, is not Area 51, but a separate, even more classified facility known only as Site Chimera, located near the unstable volcanic strata of the region. This node is less about governance and more about resource injection, where the PDTs deliver large amounts of specialized energy materials and exotic metals excavated from deep geological veins into the research and development centers hidden below the desert floor. The surface access points are perfectly camouflaged as inactive seismic monitoring stations, but the deep-level intersection beneath Site Chimera is the most highly fortified point in the entire network, protected by geothermal energy tapping directly into the Earth's heat, providing a completely self-sufficient and untraceable power source for the entire western regional grid of the arterial web, minimizing reliance on vulnerable commercial power lines. The third, and arguably the most vital operational nexus, is buried deep beneath the bustling chaos of Wall Street in New York City. Below the very foundations of the Federal Reserve and the major investment banks lies a massive, vault-like junction, the point where the network's data and financial flows converge. This node is essential for the rapid physical movement of uncertifiable assets, bearer bonds, unmarked gold bullion, and the physical security keys for decentralized digital currencies, all transported by specialized, miniaturized PDTs that operate on express lines between the major financial centers of the country. The sensory evidence here is less about smell and more about a subtle, almost imperceptible vibration that longtime employees have learned to ignore. A low, rhythmic thrumming that betrays the constant movement of trillions of dollars in physical wealth and data beneath the city's concrete armor. The sheer uniformity of the tunnel's architecture across these disparate geological zones, from the granite of the Black Hills to the complex sedimentary layers beneath the financial district, is the most damning piece of physical evidence for a single, unified, and massively funded construction effort that has been sustained over decades. Every meter of the arterial web shares the same diameter, the same material composition, and the same specialized tracks for the plasma drives, proving that this is not a collection of isolated bunkers, but a single, integrated subterranean railroad of power. Built to a singular master plan developed by a group with resources and foresight that vastly exceed those of any publicly known government agency, linking the icons of power into a hidden machine. The final revelation. The purpose and the guardians. The final revelation. The purpose and the guardians. The ultimate purpose of the secret tunnel network, its terrifying final objective, is not merely to facilitate the movement of politicians during an emergency. It is to secure and transport a non-terrestrial energy source and the personnel required to study it. The network's most remote lines terminate beneath deep, uninhabited oceanic trenches and high-altitude, magnetically stable plateaus, leading to facilities where a massive, non-human artifact is being stored, studied, and slowly leveraged for its immense power. The entire network, from the silent plasma drives to the atmospheric controls, is designed to ensure the stability and security of this artifact's energy signature as its components are moved between the research labs and the central command hubs. This core secret is guarded by an organization known only as the Keepers of the Deep Code, a multi-generational, highly secretive order composed of descendants of key engineers, physicists, and high-ranking military strategists who were present during the network's inception in the mid-20th century. These individuals do not operate within the framework of the public government. They are an independent entity, trained from birth in deep tunnel maintenance, plasma navigation, and the security protocols of the artifact. Their existence is the true reason for the network's unparalleled secrecy. They are the living firewall, the human element ensuring that the operational integrity of the entire subterranean system remains absolute and utterly disconnected from the volatile, transparent world above. The artifact's energy, often described in classified logs as zero-point potential, is the final piece of the puzzle. The vast tunnel network is required because the energy source is not stable enough to be utilized on the surface and requires the immense thermal and magnetic shielding of the deep bedrock to be contained safely. The entire infrastructure, costing trillions over decades, is a colossal investment in a future where this zero-point energy can be weaponized or, potentially, leveraged to sustain a shadow civilization indefinitely, completely independent of the planet's collapsing surface ecosystems and volatile political structures, making the tunnel system the physical manifestation of their escape plan. The final revelation is that the secret tunnel network is not just a conspiracy. It is a literal shadow government sustained by its own self-contained, high-tech infrastructure, powered by a non-human resource and guarded by an unseen order. The landmarks above are mere decoys, historical monuments designed to absorb the attention of the populace, while the real business of global control is conducted silently and swiftly, hundreds of feet below the surface. This subterranean railroad is the ultimate demonstration of power, the ability to build and sustain a second, fully operational nation, entirely hidden from the first, ensuring that when the surface world finally crumbles, the true masters of the American landscape will be safe, swift, and completely untraceable, riding their silent vehicles toward a future of absolute control.